Hey guys, WorldKingKanji here once again, and I'm back with a new video for Extreme Butoden 3DS review. I finally managed to get my hands on this game, and to tell you the truth, I've actually been quite impressed with it. But there are some instances where the game falls flat in its face and becomes more than irritating to try and play. During this review, I'm going to go into a lot of things, speculation about the characters, the story mode, the adventure mode, how to unlock some of the characters, how not to get a croaky voice in the middle of a fucking video, and then go into some of the stuff that I don't actually think has done very well, and the stuff that I think has done very well. Generally speaking, the game tends to fall flat in its face in quite a few things that you would hope it wouldn't do. For instance, one of the things that I'll get into later, the controls! The controls are good, for the most part. The control explanations, not so much. For instance, one of the things called a blast combo. If you walk up to somebody on the street and you go, "Hey, what's a blast combo, man?" They're just going to stand there and look at you like you just dribbled down yourself. So when you think about that, and the game basically goes, pull off a blast combo, everybody's got a different one. And it doesn't show you, and there's no training mode, which is allegedly supposed to come in a later patch, but I suppose we'll find out about that. But because there's no training mode, and you don't know what you're trying to do, you don't know what this move is supposed to look like. And when some of the missions require you to do this to unlock certain feats, like characters and perks, when you don't know what you're trying to do and what you're trying to pull off, it makes it incredibly difficult to try and work out whether you've done it or not. You go into the combos and it goes, press X and A to do a blast combo. So you press X and A. Now I don't know about you, but generally speaking, if I see X plus A, I think press them simultaneously. No. What this game wants you to do is press them consecutively, so to press X, A. And the thing that makes it confusing is some of the other actual combos that you look at in the menu will actually say Y, 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 and you'll think, okay, so I get how to do those. But then when it says X and A, you think, press them at the same time. But that was just one of the many things that I found to be quite irritating with this. The other thing is the ranking system. I understand that with the ranking systems, it will give you certain objectives to pull off. You know, standard sort of stuff, whether it would be the amount of hits you've done in one combo, whether you've managed to pull off a couple of ultimate attacks, whether you've pulled off a couple of super attacks. All the general sort of Dragon Ball stuff that you do to rack up a good score in maybe Burst Limit, Budokai, Tenkaichi. This game, however, because there's less life, it makes it incredibly difficult to try and get all of this stuff done. You've got an allotted time. You have to get all of their health down to a certain point, finish them with an ultimate attack, but you've got to have also hit them with, say, like 4 super attacks, get a nice 30-hit combo, have loads of your health left and loads of time left. So basically the best thing to do is really to buy a load of items, like Senzu Beans and other various sort of health replenishing items. The reason you're going to need that stuff, though, is because the computer doesn't really fight back until certain points. It goes to, it's like I don't know, it's like it's got some sort of ability where it suddenly turns Super Saiyan halfway through. It doesn't actually do that, but it's essentially like it does. Because you'll be fighting away, racking up a nice combo, and the computer seems more swayed to standing there and letting you batter him like a fillet of fish, and racking up a nice healthy combo than trying to fight back. Its main attacks consist of Annoy 1, Irritate 2, Enrage 3, by letting you pick up this lovely combo and occasionally firing one pithy Kai Blast to mess up the entire thing, like the computer's just seen its teacher walk into the classroom and immediately realise it has to look like he's trying to do something constructive, rather than sitting there and carving "I hate school" into the corners of the desk with a ruler. You know, you'll get absolutely into this combo, racking up some awesome stuff, thinking, yeah, I'm going to get that S rank, I'm going to get that character I want to unlock, and then all of a sudden the computer will just sort of trip and fall over and slap you on the way down. And it will mess up your entire combo and make you look a right mug. So, basically, it gets really irritating, but occasionally it will do that, and you'll go, oh, great, it's messed up my combo. You drop your guard, and then it kicks the crap out of you. And then you've got, like, no health. It's also worth noting about the fact that there is actually no retry button. So if you fuck up, if you die, you have to go all through the text. You have to go back to the arena, you have to pick the mission you want to do. You have to completely go through all of the jargon and listen to everybody telling you their life stories about how their parents met, and then you eventually get put back into the game. It's only actually in story mode, which I don't really want to go into just yet, But it's only really in story mode where you actually get the option to press retry if you die. You can't press start and press retry, you have to die. You have to take the punishment of losing. It's really, really annoying. One of the most annoying support characters, again when I'm going to get into the characters in a minute, is Bulma. I love Bulma, I think she's brilliant. I think she's a great character in the game as well. However, she is really annoying because you don't know what she's going to do when you bring her into the fight. Either she's going to blast them with this ray gun, of which I've never seen her use, or she runs them over with a bike from the first episode of Dragon Ball, or she pulls out Trunks' Capsule Corp freezer, fridge, that thing, the combo, because, you know, they paid a lot of money for it, and then this soda can flies out. And it's supposed to aid you, but whoever it lands on gets the health, so sometimes she replenishes the health of the enemy, and you don't know what direction this can is going to fly, and I think usually it tends to fly in the right direction, but I think it depends what side you're standing on when you summon her. But either way, if you forget, or, you know, obviously Dragon Ball is a very fast-paced thing, so you're constantly jumping around, zipping from sides of the screen, and then this can flies out and smacks you in the face, and you're lucky if you get your health back, or otherwise it will smack the opponent in the face, and they'll get their health back, and then you're stuck there thinking, oh great. And that bitch is 2 DP, she actually costs more to have her on your team than some of the better characters, so, you know, that's just one of the things. But anyway, on the subject of characters, the next thing I'm going to get into is the advertisement of 100 characters. But in reality, only 30 of those are actually playable. Well, 30 or so. The rest of them are support characters. So to any of you who have played the Supersonic Warriors games, actually I think they might have only been in the last one. So if you've played Supersonic Warriors 2, you probably know what a support character is. For those of you who don't, I'll go into a quick little summary of them. Basically, a support character is somebody that isn't playable. They're like an NPC, but they're on your team. So if you tap the screen at the right time, they'll pop up and they'll do something. Usually doing an attack or giving you a perk. For instance, if you spawn Bubbles, King Kai's monkey, he will pop up. You'll get a nice little speed boost. Because obviously they're trying to make a relation to you trying to catch Bubbles. But then some of the other ones, for instance, I don't know, Yamcha, Tien, they'll pop up and do their move, which gives you the power about a super attack. So it's quite useful to have. On Supersonic Warriors 2, that one of those people would take up a character slot. So it doesn't really, I mean, if you thought you could use Vegeta and Goku and Krillin, or if you replaced Vegeta because you wanted to have Yamcha on your team, well, I don't know why anybody would do that, but work with me here. That would have taken up a character slot, and then if Goku and Krillin had died, then you'd have had nobody left. So it was kind of counterproductive to actually use that when you could get a complete full character to use. These days, you can have 2 support characters in every 1 character slot, so it gives you a little bit more incentive to actually using it, and it replenishes a bit faster depending on how strong that character is. For instance, I mentioned Bulma had the 2 Dragon Points, the DP. Yamcha has 1. So, yes, in this game, technically speaking, Bulma is stronger than Yamcha. That's brilliant. I love it. So, as you can see, there's like a point system allocated to how many people or how strong the people are on your team to kind of keep it fair and competitive. So, as I say, roughly about 70 of these advertised characters are support characters. The one thing I do love about the support characters, though, is it does make use of a lot of the lesser seen characters, like, you know, Boss Rabbit or Monster Carrot, and it also makes use of, like, I don't know, Hachan, Ada from Dragon Ball, and a couple of other characters that you don't really see crop up in many games, or at least seriously, like Tao Pai Pai, and a few other characters, mainly from like Dragon Ball and stuff. Piccolo Daimao makes an appearance, which is nice, and there's quite a few little, you know, nudges to the past, and actually quite a few nudges to GT as well. I myself aren't a massive fan of GT, however, I did actually like the fact that they were including some of the characters. Super 17, for instance, is a support character, which did surprise me, because I kind of figured that he'd actually be a playable one. But alas, he isn't. So anyway, let's go to the next bit that I'm sure you're all interested in, is the story mode. Oh my god, the story mode. 12 minutes. 12 minutes. 12 minutes is how long it took me to complete the story mode. I'm fucking serious. However, it then unlocked a chain of what-if stories. Oh my god. And the first what-if story that I decided to play... By the way, spoiler alerts, so if any of you guys don't want to know what happens in any of these what-if stories, then please don't listen now, or stop the video. Anyway. So, the first what-if story that I played was Vegeta's what-if story. And I'm really sure anybody who's still listening to this is not going to be disappointed that they stuck around for a spoiler, because the story is exactly the same as the main timeline. However, Vegeta turns into a Super Saiyan on Namek at the same time as Goku. Completely doesn't give any real explanation as to why, he just does it. And you're supposed to just take that and sit there in awe, dribbling over your DS. But anyway, Vegeta then goes on to kill Frieza with the Gallic Gun. And then everything else continues the exact same way, like Vegeta and Goku go back to Earth together. And then Trunks comes from the future and apparently slays Frieza again. And all this stuff that didn't really coexist, because I kind of figured if Vegeta had wiped him out with a Gallic Gun, it would have probably been a bit more than Goku's blast that he did to him. Anyway, I digress. The actual what-if story ended after the fight, because it continued the exact same way right up until the Majin Vegeta versus Goku fight. And then it stops, and Fat Boo is apparently there, and he's turned up, and Majin Vegeta conks Goku out. And then apparently it just goes on to read that Vegeta destroyed Boo. And that's the end. That's a great what-if, guys. Seriously, of all the what-ifs you could think of, that was the best one you could come up to. But anyway, so yeah, that was that. I haven't gone into the other what-if stories yet, because to be perfectly honest, after that was the best one they could do for Vegeta, I kind of lost a bit of hope, and I was a bit like, you know what, I'm going back to the adventure mode. So, yeah, that was story mode. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go on to a list of honourable mentions and some good features and some bad features now. I do want to actually go into the fact that just because I've sounded like I've been criticising a lot of this stuff, I don't want you to get the impression that I don't like the game. The game on a whole is actually a good game, and I do actually intend to be playing it all the way through, and I do want to unlock all the characters. Bearing in mind that I am a big Dragon Ball fan, that could just be to do with that, but you have to take in an element of biasness into all this anyway, because most people that play Dragon Ball games already know everything about Dragon Ball. They already have a big interest in it. Anyway, to go into the next bit, the game's voice acting is all the original Japanese voices. So, if you're not fond of Masako Nozawa's Goku, you'll be playing with the sound off. I, however, really do dig the original voices and found it to be a bit of nostalgic heaven from playing the games from when I was younger, before obviously Funimation ever got their hands on dubs for the games, at least in the UK, as I do believe actually the first Budokai was actually dubbed in North America release, whereas in the UK and most other places it actually just had the Japanese voices for the game. Obviously, like, you know, Ultimate Battle 22 and Final Bout, pretty much any of you that will have been playing this when you were younger have probably all heard these voices, and you've probably got used to them now. But anyway, some quickfire good features. The World Tournament mode is in it. Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty good mode to have in a DS game. They don't tend to put that sort of stuff in. Obviously, I've already gone into the fact there's a nice array of not often seen characters. Woo! Multiple game modes. There is a lot of game modes on this. There's a lot of gameplay. Even if the story does only consist of 12 minutes, the what-if sagas are a bit longer, even if they're not much what-if. The sprites are absolutely gorgeous, and the blasts are great. The beam struggles are back. Oh my god, the beam struggles are brilliant. I do like the mix of sprites on those 3D After Effects sort of things, where they come out of the screen and they're looking all giant and purple and flashing lights and all that stuff. It looks really good with sprites, in my opinion. But one of the reasons I prefer 2D and sprite animated Dragon Ball games is because they look more like the original, they look more like the TV series, and they look like the manga. Whereas if you're used to playing the 3D games and stuff like Burst Limit, as gorgeous as that game is, it's I often look at it and I sort of go, I wish they'd make a cartoon one. I just wish they'd put some funds into making like a really, really high quality Ultimate Battle 22, but with like, you know, as many characters as you could think of. But, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, that's what Mugen's for. So, yes, I mentioned Mugen. I'm old. Anyway, the next thing, Super Butoden 2 on the 3DS. Yes, if you manage to get it from Amazon pre-order, or a digital download to my knowledge from the Nintendo store, I'm afraid I'm not too sure, but I'm sure of, like, you know, American things, but I'm pretty sure that GameStop are probably doing something along those lines. With the Amazon pre-orders, you also get 4 extra support characters like Baby Goku and Kid Gohan, and there's a couple of other ones in there as well. And I believe somewhere out there you were getting Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I'm not sure who was doing that. I don't know if that was Amazon. I'm not sure where that was, but yeah, you can get that. And finally, a massive announcement, which I can't remember if I already touched upon yet, but online mode has been announced in Japan. No word yet on European or US release, but it's hard to think we won't get it as a patch, considering the fact they actually went through the effort to ship us the game anyway. Quickfire SAD features. There's no transformations. The only one that I can really see was in there is Goku's Kaioken, which is only seen as part of an ultimate attack and a super attack. Obviously the Kaioken attack and the Kaioken Kamehameha. That, you know, to be honest, with these sort of games I kind of forgive it, because there isn't actually a massive difference between Super Saiyan and base forms. You know, the DP does make a difference, the Dragon Points allocations do actually make a difference to the characters, so say Super Saiyan Vegeta is worth more points than standard Vegeta, so he is slightly more powerful. So there is a kind of difference in these sort of things, but it balances itself out with the allocated Dragon Points you can actually have on your team. The cutscenes, oh my god, the cutscenes are boring as shit. Just a picture of the character that changes every 10 minutes with a lot of slowly typed text being the narrative of the game. Seriously, I like Dragon Ball dialogue. I love, you know, the fact that they have the stare downs and stuff. But in this game, the text just sort of comes out quite slowly. And I've ended up actually pressing start to skip all the cutscenes, because I already know what happens in Dragon Ball. The what if stories made me want to hang around, but after that Vegeta one, it made me just want to skip everything, to be perfectly honest with you. And an awful lot of the characters are missing from actual combat rather than being support characters. Even if they were just like clones of movesets, it would be better than not all having them as supports, because, you know, 30 playable characters and 70 support characters. I'd rather have 50 characters than 50 support characters. So, you know, but that's just me. I think the game probably would have taken a little bit longer to come out, although they did go through the effort of spriting them that far, so... But anyway. Honourable mentions. A couple of funny support characters. My favourite one thus far being the turtle. As you watch him slowly drag his ass along the floor like a slug trying to crawl away from a pile of salt, with his use being if you come into contact with him, you stick to him and can't move very quickly, a bit like a spider web on Minecraft or something. It opens you up to give you a load of chance to blast his teeth in, your opponent's teeth in, with a Gallic gun. Downside is the little bugger crawls off for a while and he actually goes from one side of the screen to the other one, and if you land on him he has the same effect on you, giving you the hug you never wanted and being the reason you lose the sodding fight. Closely followed by my next favourite, who is King Kai, who's a bugger to unlock. And when you actually use him, he just turns up and says his name over and over again with a groan like he's pleasuring himself to his own name, and then you both fall over. How inconvenient. But anyway, this video's gone on long enough now, so... In summary, I actually really do like the game. Perhaps it's just being a Dragon Ball fan. To a non-Dragon Ball fan, I'd probably steer clear of it, but with that logic, I'd tell all of them not to buy any Dragon Ball game, because you just wouldn't understand what was going on. I recommend it to any Dragon Ball fan, but just bear in mind that it really plays like a cross between Super Butoden 2 and Street Fighter, which is a very good mix, but yeah, some things fall short. Personally, I just think it's been spoilt by games like Tenkaichi 3 by having so many goddamn characters. But yeah, I like the game on the whole, and speaking as a DBZ fan, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Room for improvement, but I'd be hoping for a new DBZ 2D fighter for absolutely years. And as if this is the best that we're going to get, then I'll accept it, because it's a really solid go at it. Anyway guys, thanks for watching the video. Obviously, if you like it, give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. And if you do like it and you want to see more, please feel free to subscribe. I'll be coming out with some more content in the coming weeks. I really am trying to make videos whenever I get a chance. So thanks a lot, guys, and have a great day.